Right now, parts of Yakima are under evacuation. Firefighting crews working to get a wildfire under control. We have new video of those efforts as residents are told to get out now.
Boeing could avoid criminal charges for violating its settlement following 2 deadly 737 MAX 8 crashes. What we are learning today.
What comes to my mind is death by 1,000 cuts.
Saving the trees in Shoreline. A city official says it's all part of a plan to improve safety and accessibility. But neighbors we spoke with say the cost is too high.
Construction concerns in Seattle.
We just feel like the city doesn't hear us or want to hear us.
Orange cones are expected to be up for 4 months in Pioneer Square. Businesses say it's going to push customers away during the busiest time of year.
We started forward with breaking news out of Yakima, where a wildfire is forcing mandatory evacuations. You see here in this viewer video just how close the fire is burning to an apartment complex. Right now, power is shut off in parts of the city as crews work to get the fire under control.
Take a look. This is the area under level 3 evacuations right now. The fire is burning on the east side of the Yakima River near Yakima Sportsman State Park. Multiple videos show helicopters and airplanes dropping water on the fire. Right now, it's unclear how many people are under evacuation orders or if any structures have burned. An emergency evacuation center just opened at the Terrace Heights Elementary School.
We do have a crew on the way to the scene. We will update you as soon as we find out more. We are also keeping a close eye on the Pioneer fire, still burning near the north shore of Lake Chelan tonight. It has burned more than 4,100 acres so far. Crews say it could keep smoldering until Halloween. So far, though, no homes or buildings have been burned. We want to bring in meteorologist Adam Claiborne right now for a look at the weather in this area.
Yeah, we have those hot temperatures, Adam, likely making it a little bit more difficult for firefighters.
Yeah, hot temperatures, relatively low humidities as well. The thing is, thankfully, we haven't had a lot of strong wind out there, and that's going to be one of the saving graces that we're going to have here for today with those conditions across that side of the state. Wanted to show you what's going on, and right there in particular, our winds have been relatively light. You can see where the flame is. That's particularly where we are dealing with that fire here into this afternoon, and you can see the wind coming off of the higher terrain here across some parts of eastern Washington. Now, we also see the wind heading off towards the west. That's why we had more of those evacuation orders for areas west of the fire itself. But thankfully, again, winds have been pretty light, and we should keep those around about 10 miles per hour, if not less, here as we head on into the evening. Still relatively low humidities, though, so we're definitely dealing with some very dry air. What we're going to keep an eye out for, though, is as we go into the weekend, this system out over the Pacific, that will be heading towards us here across the state. And yes, it's going to cool down temperatures, but also pick up winds across the eastern side of the state, too, which could produce a higher chance of fire danger there across the areas heading into Sunday. We'll talk more about that coming up later.
Adam, thank you. We're going to have more coverage on the evacuations ahead tonight at 4:30. Our sister station in the Tri-Cities joins us live with the latest out of that area tonight.
King 5 also has a crew on the way to the area right now. Jim Nelson will join us live tonight on King 5 News at 6:30. Over the last decade, the state has doubled its aerial fleet to help fight wildfires from the air. A decade ago, the state's aerial fleet consisted of mostly Army surplus helicopters, some so old they flew in the Vietnam War. The state says these new helicopters and planes allows them to get to a wildfire anywhere in the state in under 30 minutes. There are now more aircraft to drop water on the fires as well, and 2 Kodiak airplanes with HD thermal cameras, which gives crews a jump start on fires that may not be visible from the ground.
And there are aerial intelligence platforms. They're constantly flying, looking for fires, getting us there early, which keeps us from putting so many aircraft in the air because we find those fires earlier now.
Legislation has also helped the state bulk up its tools on the ground.
New at 4, the New York Times is reporting the Department of Justice is considering allowing Boeing to avoid criminal charges for violating its settlement following 2 deadly 737 MAX 8 crashes.
King 5's Julie Calhoun joins us live now with what we are learning. Julie.
Well, Jessica, Steve, the New York Times is reporting the DOJ is considering allowing Boeing to enter into another agreement to get out of facing criminal charges. But attorneys representing the plane crash victims' families say the DOJ has not made a decision, and by law, they would have to be notified first. The DOJ has 3 options: to take the case to trial, force a guilty plea from Boeing, or do what's called a deferred prosecution, which would appoint a federal monitor to oversee safety protocols. In 2021, prosecutors agreed to dismiss a criminal charge after 2 deadly 737 MAX 8 crashes, as long as Boeing complied to its deal to overhaul its compliance program for 3 years. But January's door plug blowout happened just before the agreement expired, and now prosecutors are deciding whether or not to revive those criminal charges. Families of the 346 people killed in the crashes want Boeing prosecuted to the fullest extent.
The DOJ needs to defend the public. They need to be real prosecutors and say, no, we don't want perpetrators out there injuring human beings. And they need to step up and take that posture.
The DOJ declined to comment. And coming up at 5, we'll hear from a local attorney representing some of the crash victims' families and what he thinks the feds are considering. Back to you.
Julie, thank you. In yet another incident involving Boeing, the FAA is now looking into why a Southwest Airlines flight came dangerously close to the ground this week. It's the second time it's happened since April. The flight was heading to the airport in Oklahoma City at the time, and tracking data shows that jet came within about 500 feet from the ground before it started to climb again, and then it did land safely. In a previous incident, another flight came within 400 feet of the ocean. The jets involved in both of those cases are Boeing 737 models. No word yet on a cause.
Investigators in Thurston County say a Joint Base Lewis McChord soldier killed his pregnant wife and a roommate. Lacey police arrested the 21-year-old active duty soldier last night. Detectives say he shot and killed his wife, who was 8 months pregnant. That unborn child did not survive. Also killed the couple's roommate, another soldier from JBLM. Lacey police say the man was arrested following a pursuit and standoff at a wildlife preserve just off of I-5. Today, jury deliberations began in the trial of an Auburn police officer charged in the death of a 26-year-old man.
Officer Jeffrey Nelson is charged with second-degree murder and assault in the death of Jesse Saray. In May 2019, Officer Nelson was attempting to arrest Saray outside of an Auburn grocery store when he shot him twice. The jury will take a break from the court on Monday and will resume deliberations on Tuesday. New information tonight from Seattle police after the Holocaust Center for Humanity was vandalized. The department says it has determined the graffiti you see here written over a Holocaust survivor is not a crime.
The department believes it didn't cause any damage and no explicit threat was made. The graffiti has since been cleaned up. The Holocaust Center told King 5 yesterday the incident was, quote, disheartening. We reached out to the center tonight for a response to the SPD investigation. We will let you know once we hear back.
It's pretty bad for us when you try to make a small business for support your family.
Lacey food truck owners hit by vandals and thieves are getting some help. This comes just days after police say 2 teenage boys burglarized several food trucks.
Thurston County Bureau Chief Drew Mickelson has a surveillance video that has rallied the community, Drew.
Well, Steve and Jessica, every other Friday night, the Lacey Food Truck Depot here hosts live entertainment, dinner service, but tonight's party is more of a show of support. It was early Tuesday morning right here that Lacey police say a 17-year-old boy and a 16-year-old boy either ransacked or burglarized 4 of the food trucks in a nearby coffee stand. Police say the surveillance video helped ID the boys who allegedly had cash and items stolen from the food trucks on them. Now, they're blamed for causing several $1,000s to some of the doors and windows on the food trucks. But since news spread about the break-ins, the owners here have seen a nice boost in business, something they hope continues tonight.
And I appreciate all the police officers, the city, and all the community. Completely, thank you so much for everything. I'm really happy to be here.
The boys have been charged in juvenile court with multiple counts of malicious mischief and burglary. Coming up tonight at 5:30, find out why these unique Coke bottles helped crack the case for Lacey police. Live in Lacey, Drew Mickelson, King 5 News.
Lots of sunshine on this first full day of summer as we look live over parts of western Washington tonight on another 80-degree day.
Some businesses in Seattle's iconic Pioneer Square say they are worried about making it through the summer, though. They say a construction project that's scheduled to take several months will make it difficult to attract customers.
And that is especially hard during the busy summer tourist season, and the businesses say the city is just not giving them enough support.
King 5's Connor Board joining us live now with the latest. Connor.
Yeah, Steve and Jessica, this construction behind me is why business owners are frustrated. You can see this construction throughout this area of Pioneer Square along First Avenue South. And next week, that construction will go up onto this sidewalk, which is causing concerns for this business owner right here. And business owners I talked to today say they're already taking a big financial hit in what's supposed to be their most profitable time of year. Some say it feels like the city does not care if their business survives or not. This construction is part of the Seattle waterfront project and is meant to better connect the waterfront to Pioneer Square. But business owners say the construction is disconnecting them from their customers and feel the city has left them hanging without support.
All that money that we were hoping to recoup this summer is probably not going to happen, which means you will most likely, if this keeps continuing, see a lot of Pioneer Square small businesses close down this winter.
A spokesperson with the city's waterfront project said they're trying to do the construction in 3 block areas to help reduce the impacts to business owners. But coming up tonight at 5, we'll hear from a different business owner who says construction outside her door caused significant problems. In Seattle's Pioneer Square neighborhood, Connor Board, King 5 News.
Connor, thank you. A similar story in Kirkland. Work still underway to finish a new elevated walkway at Lake Street and Kirkland Avenue. The intersection was closed for months, but just reopened last week. Work on the project started back in spring after concerns from business owners there who were concerned about construction during the summer months. The project does allow people to cross the street in any direction they choose.
Businesses also feeling the pressure from our struggling ferry system and the ongoing vessel shortage. South Pacific Sports Bar near the Bremerton Ferry Terminal depends on daily commuters for its revenue and says right now they are at the mercy of inconsistent ferries.
They know they got to catch a ferry, and if they're not there in line soon enough, they're not going to make the boat that's there.
In 2020, the Bremerton-Seattle route was reduced from 2 boats to 1 due to staffing shortages and aging vessels. But state officials say they will likely be able to add another ferry boat to this particular route in the next year or 2.
Still ahead on King 5 tonight, nearly 300 trees are set to be cut down in Shoreline.
Why the city says it's necessary and the community's efforts to stop it. Also, growing safety concerns over failing batteries, locking people in and out of their electric vehicles.
And ahead on Health Lane, trying to prevent the spread of COVID-19, how researchers are looking into stopping transmission in your own home. Plus, we are following breaking news right now out of Yakima. A fast-moving wildfire now being called the Keys Road Fire is forcing evacuations. This fire is about 60 acres and growing, and fire crews say homes are in danger. A live report ahead at 4:30.